Well, hello there. It is indeed the 6th of December 2019, and here you are with Dan in Essex, UK. So today I'm going to be making a video on grapes. So for those of you who have clicked on this video expecting to see lovely juicy bunches of grapes hanging there majestically in the sun, this is not the video for you because it is indeed the dormant season, but nonetheless grapes are interesting all year round and they are such a great thing to grow here in the UK. So you can see this vine here, variety Lakemont Seedless, which is an American variety. I've had some quite good success with this variety in the past. I have got a grape playlist if you'd like to check that out, and then you can see grapes hanging there looking beautiful, so that's an amazing thing if that's what you want to see. So now you can see the cutting I took here, and it really has thickened out. You can really feel just how strong that's in the ground. So that's rooted out well. Grapevines are very deep rooted, and for that reason they can tolerate poor soil. I don't feed this vine with anything, and they generally like a pH of around 5.5 to 6.5, something like that. You can get very specific if that floats your boat, but 5.5 to 6.5 is generally a good idea with regards to the pH requirement of grapes. They don't like to be in wet soil, okay, in the sense of soil that doesn't drain very well. If you think of a grapevine, you generally think of something that's growing in like a Mediterranean climate, don't you? Something like that. But they don't like to be sitting there with their roots in really wet soil, because that can cause root rot. So you don't really want to be doing that. If you've got poor draining soil, you could try mixing something like some good organic matter into it to help it drain a little bit better, or you could consider growing one in a pot, such as this one here. Look, once again grown from a cutting. Doesn't that look beautiful? Right, so with regards to pruning, we're in more or less the perfect time of year for pruning grapevines. The general advice is to prune them late November into December, because if you prune them at different times of the year, it's said that they can leach sap, they can bleed. But I've pruned grapevines, in the early spring, and I didn't actually experience, or the vine that I pruned didn't actually experience that. But the general advice, late November into December, okay, when the vine is dormant and the leaves are off. You can see that. And the way that I've trained this is I've kept some nice space between the little shoots there, tendrils, vines, whatever you want to call them, because all being well, this will be putting up lovely beautiful bunches of grapes next year, which I really want. And Lakemont Seedless, the grapes are lovely, honey sweet, and in the correct environment. You want to be thinking about a microclimate when you're growing grapes, okay? So yes, they do indeed require a period of dormancy with cold weather during the winter period, but excuse me, they like a long warm summer in order to ripen. Of course there are different varieties nowadays which will do better in cooler climates, but as a general rule you want to be having them on a south facing wall or fence, and this is a southeast facing fence, and it gets quite warm. So you can see how it's trained with the rose wire, just like that, all up over this fence here, and it really does radiate the heat back into the vine and into the fruit, thus making it sweeter and helping it to ripen. So the general advice again with growing grapevines is that you don't need to actually feed them if they're in the open ground, because they put their roots down quite far in order to gain nutrients and water, which to me once again brings this dry weather spells we seem to be experiencing, certainly here in the southeast of the UK. They make them a great thing to grow because they go right down for their water. They don't need fertilising in terms of fertiliser. They're self-fertile, so they're very self-caring. But one thing you've got to be prepared for is they really do grow quite vigorously, okay, particularly when they're established. I mean, if you check out the Lakemont Seedless vine I had on the I got on the playlist there, it really does that really did and still does in fact go crazy during the growing season, and you can end up with a massive vine. But a lot of people are getting into growing exotics now, but I refer to grapes as a bit like a peach or something like that, or a persimmon. Now I refer to that as this is a hardy exotic which can thrive here in the UK climate or indeed other cold climates, and it's a huge misconception that you can't grow grapes here in the UK. And you can take cuttings as well. I've got a video how to take grapevine cuttings. This vine propagated for free, and all being well it should have lovely, delicious, beautiful grapes hanging there next year. So any comments or questions you've got on grapes, feel free to post them below, or check out the playlist. If you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. See ya.